With the NHL season slowly approaching, we found some early Leafs predictions that we might see play out this season. So you're not going to want to miss this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into that, we just want to say that 92.8% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you're looking for a home to daily NHL and Leafs content, look no further and go down and hit that subscribe button. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video, which is Leafs hot takes for this season. And we come upon an article written by Leafs Nation stating some bold takes he had for this season. And the first one he has is Mitch Marner winning the Selke Trophy. And as he says here in this article, Patrice Bergeron announcing his retirement obviously opens up the Selke race a lot because he was a winner that many times in his career. And he says that Marner and Hischier are his top two candidates for it. And obviously Marner's ability to play both sides of the puck is unmatched in the NHL. Some people would say he might be a defenseman out there sometimes. And obviously he's going to be among the lead leaguers in takeaways again. And he's going to develop into elite penalty killer, which he already is. So expect Marner to be in the Selke hunt all season long. And Mark, I know you've been vocal on this channel about Marner being the Selke winner. Do you think this is the year?
Oh, well, for sure. I thought last year he had a really good chance of winning it. It's kind of a center award. It seems like a lot of centers usually get the edge in this situation due to face-offs. But if the Leafs penalty kill can be the top in the league, Marner's the top penalty killer on the Leafs. Put two of those together, and I think there's a high chance. I mean, we see him. He's good on the forecheck on the penalty kill. He's good at breaking up plays. He can skate back and play defense when he needs to. And overall, I think he might be, well, sorry, I think he is by far the best defensive forward on the Leafs. And I think if not this year, I'd say in the next year or two for sure, Marner will get a Selke.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I think Marner is just such a good defensive player that I think if the Leafs are really struggling on the blue line with injuries, I think you could put him back there and he could play it no problem. Obviously, he's a great playmaker as well, so you don't want to see him back there. But I think Marner just has such a great 200-foot game, and I think we definitely will see a Selke out of him. If it's not this year, maybe next year. But I think as he develops into this elite penalty killer that he is, I think he should definitely get a shot at it, even though he's not a center.
Oh, without a doubt. And you kind of look at it last year, they kind of flirted with the idea of maybe playing him a little bit of defense. I know in fantasy, I wanted him to get the D eligibility. Never did happen. But he's the type of guy, yeah, you can kind of plug him everywhere. I wouldn't trust him at center. But in a pinch, if you needed him to play some D minutes, just say they ran an extra forward and one less defenseman, I think he's the guy you go to. He might not be the biggest player, but I think just overall with his stick game, situations like that, I think he can disrupt enough where he can hold his own. And like I said, I think he is the best defensive player on the Leafs. If the Leafs penalty kill can be the top, I do think he'll win this year.
Yeah, and I think if he has a 100-point season and he plays as well defensively as he has been, I think we could definitely see him up there in the Selke talks. I think he'll be there all season long, regardless. But it'd be nice to see him win one. I think he deserves one. He's just such a great defensive player, and I think he should definitely get one before his career is done. But we're going to get into our next take here, which is John Klingberg surpasses 50 points. And obviously, Klingberg has hit 50 points before, but he hasn't hit it since the 17-18 season with Dallas, where he put up 67. He's been hovering around 40 points ever since. But with a roster loaded with offensive weapons like the Leafs, he could definitely do it this season. And Klingberg, is the type of guy who likes to move the puck and can quarterback a power play. And I think we could definitely see him get over 50 this year, especially being paired up with a guy like Jake McCabe back there.
I'd be willing to bet this the most, honestly. You look at the Leafs team, I mean, their power play is lethal. They have so many top six guys, even a couple of bottom six guys that can really produce. So I think it really depends on where Klingberg plays. I think it's going to be maybe the second or third pairing, so he will still get a lot of minutes. And with the situation of if he plays the first or second power play, I think if he plays the first, he could reach almost 60 points. But I think they'll stick with Morgan Riley on the first power play. And even on the second power play, playing a tiny bit of first in a pinch, I do think he'll hit 50 points. And I could see up to 60 for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like we said here on the channel before, we think the Leafs power play is just going to be one of the best in the league this year. And obviously they got Morgan Rielly, who, you don't need to talk about him. Obviously he's a great offensive player, but then you bring in John Klingenberg, who's another great offensive defenseman. And I know a lot of people here look at the age of 30, but when you look at Gio when he won it, he was a bit up there in age too. So won the Norris, sorry. But I think Klingberg could definitely get 50 this year. I think I could see him pushing 60 for sure, Mark.
Oh, without a doubt. And like I said, Riley, I think, is going to be their top power play guy, but you might see a situation where they want to shake it up and spread the wealth a little bit. I think you keep the forwards up there in Tavares, Marner, Matthews. Nylander's probably going to slide down to second. You can put a guy like Bertuzzi up on the top one as well. But I could see Klingberg with a shot creating more space on the top one and just having Mo of more of a defensive oriented between the two on the second power play and still be able to produce and pass, shoot, all that on the second unit. But I trust him a bit more on the defensive end more than I do Klingberg. But I could see the situation where they'll kind of rotate this. I think training camp's going to be huge for it. But yeah, no, I think Klingberg's is set for 60 points.
Yeah, for sure. I really hope we see at some point this season a Morgan Rielly and Klingberg pairing for one game. I really want to see it because I think those guys would be lethal up there together. But we'll have to see what happens here. But we're going to get into our next take here, which is Austin Matthews scores 60 goals. I don't think this is a hot take. I think it's more of a lukewarm take. I think he's definitely going to hit 50. I think he'll be pushing close to 60, obviously, if he stays healthy. But obviously, Matthews put up 40 in 74 games last year, and I think he's going to hit the 60-goal mark once again. Obviously, playing with players like Marner and Nylander and Bertuzzi and Nyes. I think we're just going to see another great season out of Austin Matthews here. I think maybe a career year for Austin Matthews. I think he's definitely going to hit 100. I think 60 goals, 40 assists wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
I think 60 is going to happen. It's kind of funny when you look at a lot of people who are like, oh, Matthews had a down year. When someone has a down year with 40 goals, I mean, hell, I'd take that. That's an incredible year to me. So you kind of look at it. I think 60 goals is reasonable. My hot take on this, I think he's going to lead the league and win the Rocket again. He's going to score more than McDavid, so I'll rub that on Oilers fans a tiny bit. But I think it's a situation where 60 goals definitely. You have a guy like Domi coming in, so if he ever plays some top minutes with him and Marner, that's more playmaking coming through. A guy like Klingberg's going to set him up. And we're just more of the openings on the offensive end where people can space out a bit more, and he's not going to be kind of crunched in the corner on the power play. I think it's without a doubt 55, 60, maybe even 65 goals this year.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see him hitting 60, no problem, especially like we just talked about. The power play unit is going to be so lethal this year. I think he's a big factor in that. I definitely think we could see him getting 15, maybe 20 on the power play. I don't know. I think we definitely could see that. But like we said here before, Austin Matthews is one of the best, if not the best, goal scorer in the NHL right now. I know Alex Ovechkin's still in there, but I think Matthews is slowly taking over that best goal scorer title. And I don't think you're too out there with a Rocket trophy in the future for Austin Matthews.
Yeah, you kind of just look at his game. He can score from almost anywhere. I mean, in front of the net, he can tip shots. He has a lethal wrister. I think it's the best in the league. And you kind of look at the situation like we were talking about, just like these extra guys on the power play. I think if you can get him on the one-time side, you can't really leave many other people open this year. So it's going to be a situation where we might see him get into Ovi's office a tiny bit and just, rifle a couple home that way. But, 30, 35 goals on the power play, then you got to look at 25 goals. Other than that, I think there's more than doable, and I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and the reason I think that Matthews is going to have such a good season because he kind of got that stress lifted off his shoulders with that contract now extended. He just has to worry about playing hockey, and I think it's just going to be such a great season for Austin Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he hit 60. I think he'd be more pushing towards 65, like you said. And we're going to get into our next one here, which is Matthew Knies scores 20 goals and finishes top 3 in Calder voting for the Rookie of the Year. And obviously here they say that the opportunity to play some major minutes is going to be right in front of Knies. He just saw over 13 minutes in the playoffs last year, and if he snatches a top six role, we could see him much closer to that 16, 17 minutes time on ice a night. And I know, like me and you predicted earlier in the year, or earlier in the offseason, that we think Matthew Knies might play the top line with Marner or Nylander, or Matthews and Nylander, or Matthews and Marner. But I think if this happens, I think this guy's just going to skyrocket. I'd even say he might score over 20 goals playing with guys like that.
You kind of get in this situation too, where even if he does get slid down to the third line and he plays with a guy with Domi, we've seen Domi before. He's an incredible playmaker and is almost underlooked in his game. Might not be a good goal scorer completely. We've seen some flashes in Montreal. But if you put a guy like this next to Nyes, or if you move him up with Tavares and say Nylander on the second line, or Marner and Matthews, which Marner one of the best, or if the best playmaker in the league, you kind of look and it's almost a given for him to score the 15 to 20 goals. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. I think he's in the right situation. He adds the big body. We always talk about this grit and physicality with Bertuzzi, Reeves, Domi, but we don't really talk about Nyes. He's a big boy in general, and I think he's going to have an incredible year. Winning the Calder is going to be hard. You got look at a guy like Bedard's there. I think Devin Levi is going to have an incredible year in Buffalo. Fantali, stuff like that. But if the Leafs can clinch a President's Trophy, Nyes is a big piece of this. He can put up maybe 20 goals, 20 assists for 40. If you push 50 points with a good plus minus, hitting, blocking, all that, I think he has a high chance of finishing top three and a slim chance at honestly winning the Calder.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, it's going to be a tough competition out there this year for the Calder. Obviously, everybody's really high on Bedard right now, and obviously Fantilli is going to be a good year. I think Shane Wright's still eligible for it this year as well if he has a good year. So it's going to be a really tight race for it this year because unless Bedard just goes off, which I'm not really expecting him to do, but that's a topic for a whole nother video. But the one thing I really like about Matthew Knies, and like I've said here on the channel, I love these gritty players, and I think Matthew Knies is just one of those, just what we've seen from him in the playoffs, that he just drops the shoulder and cuts to the net with ease. I think this guy's just going to be such a big piece of this Toronto team this year, and he's going to contribute so much success to this team at only, on a contract I think is only like 700 or 900K or something like that. I think this guy is just a budget beast, if you want to say it like that. But I think, obviously, I think this guy is going to get 20 goals. I think it's not out of the realm of possibility for him maybe to get 25. And like you said, maybe he gets 40 points and maybe he's in the running. I'd really like to see him. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for him to get top three in Calder voting at all.
And the big thing is too is we're taking all this aside a bit. I've always said with these championship teams, obviously you have your top guys that are paid, you have your top defenseman, top goalie, but every team you see win always has these couple guys on the cheap deal that are just impactful with more than they're getting paid. You see Nyes, if he can put up 40 or 50 points and he's getting paid under $1 million, that's just a situation where it benefits Toronto completely. Where if deadline comes around, they have a little bit more money to spend on a couple guys. They might get Corey Perry or someone like that. And I think without just taking the Calder into effect, I think Nyes is almost a real big dark horse for the Leafs this year in a situation where we don't know how much he's going to produce. We could expect, 40, 50 points. And I think he's almost an X factor when it comes to this top six where he could come in and just be the missing piece that they needed.
Yeah, I know a lot of the league don't know his name now, but I think by the end of the season, a lot of people are going to know Matthew Knies. I think this guy is just, like I said, is just going to contribute to so much success in Toronto, and I just love these type of players. I love the big body guys that, sit in front of the net or lay the body, get in the corners, and guys who can just come out front, drop the shoulder, and cut to the net with ease. And I'm a big Matthew Knies guy. I think he's going to have a great year this year. But one thing that I think a hot take for me, maybe, I think obviously I'm a big Max Domi fan, as a lot of people on the channel might know. I think Max Domi is going to have a great year. I think him and Marner are going to have that chemistry going in the locker room. I think it's just going to contribute to his success. Maybe we get to see him play together at some point during the season. I think that would be pretty cool. Old line mates on the London Knights. I think Max Domi, I'm going to say it, I think he's going to hit 50 points this year.
I'm just excited for Domi to get in his first fight. They're going to zoom into the crowd. Ty Domi's going to be fired up there. I think 50 points is for sure. You could see maybe 40, 50 assists, maybe 10 to 15 goals. If we can get him to produce at a 60 point, maybe even 70 point, might be pushing a bit if he's not playing in the top lines. I think this is a steal. I think this is a guy that we're going to resign for sure. He wants to be in Toronto. I think his dad wants him in Toronto. I think all of Leafs Nation wants him in Toronto. So I'm excited for this guy.
Yeah, I love this guy. I loved him in Montreal, and I think this year is the year for him to get back to his success like he was in Montreal. I have the Max Domi Montreal jersey hanging up my closet right now. I just love that guy, and I'm happy for the Leafs to have him, and happy that he's in his on a team that his dad played for. I think it's just gonna be such a great year for him, and I just wish him the best of success in Toronto this season. And we're gonna get into our next topic, which is everybody's favorite comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to GR. It goes, between Nylander's playoff track record and the addition of Bertuzzi with what he did last playoffs with Boston, the Leafs should definitely see improvement this year. If the other members of the core can step up a little more along with what Nyes will bring to the table over a full season, we should hopefully see a deep playoff run. And obviously, we've said this on the channel before, we do think the Leafs are going to make a deep playoff run this year. What do you think, Mark?
I mean, everyone's going to call me delusional. Again, I love seeing those comments. They're hilarious to me. But you look at last year against Florida, we ran into a hot goalie in Bobrovsky. But everything we missed last year, we got this year. We needed the grit. We got that in Domi and Bertuzzi. We needed a guy that could step up and punch someone in the face when they were just kind of throwing us around. We have that in Reeves. We have a full year of Knives development. We have a situation where we still have Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander. We have this core. Klingberg helps on the back end. Full year Samsonov, Joseph Woll. I could see a Stanley Cup Finals, and I don't want to jinx it yet, but I think they're going to win the cup this year. Call me delusional, but when they win, I will make sure to frame every one of those comments.
In the words of the great one, Wayne Gretzky, this is their year. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like down below. Make sure to go down, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the season starts, and we'd love to see that happen. And comment down below some of your guys' hot takes, and if you agree with the ones that we've went over today, we'd like to hear from you guys, and like to hear what your opinions on the Leafs this season are. But I've been Casey alongside my co-host Mark Pye. Keep your stick on the ice.